God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Friday. I hope that you all have great plans for the weekend. I know that I do. I'm looking forward to unplugging and relaxing a little bit, especially after the busy week that I've had. So, the story that I want to talk about today is headlined in the Washington Post. Democratic Party files lawsuit alleging Russia, the Trump campaign, and WikiLeaks hired to disrupt the 2016 campaign. They officially believe their own lie. Now, granted, this is not Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz's Democrat National Committee. This is the Keith Ellison Democrat National Committee. It is not the lie of the Keith Ellison Democrat National Committee that Russia hacked the election and that Trump and WikiLeaks helped them to do it. That is the lie of the Debbie Schultz DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. So it could very well be that Keith Ellison believes not his own lie, but simply a lie of somebody else. It remains to be seen. But anyways, let's just get into some of this. It's too funny. The Democrat National Committee filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit Friday against the Russian government, the Trump campaign, and the WikiLeaks organization, alleging a far-reaching conspiracy to disrupt the 2016 campaign and tilt the election to Donald Trump. Now, it's been said a couple of times in the past by different folks that collusion in an election is not a crime currently. The legislature would have to pass a law to illegalize quote-unquote collusion to tilt an election. You could say that Trump colluded with millions of American people to tilt the election in his favor. As far as influencing an election goes, that's the definition of collusion. You know, you get your team of voters together and you say, if you all vote for me, this person won't get to be president. Or you all vote for me and I get to be president. That's collusion. That's how elections work. Oh, anyways. The complaint alleges that Trump campaign officials conspired with the Russian government and its military spy agency to hurt Democrat presidential nominee Hillary Clinton and help Trump by hacking the computer networks of the Democrat Party and disseminating stolen material found there. Now, pop quiz, let me see if you get this. It's subtle, but what does the complaint not say? I'll read the complaint to you once again. Top Trump campaign officials conspired with the Russian government and its military spy agency to hurt Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton and help Trump by hacking the computer networks of the Democratic Party and disseminating stolen material found there. 3, 2, 1, time's up. The suit does not allege that the stolen material is not true. That's a big deal. At least it is in my opinion, that the material that is alleged to have been stolen by Russians and Trump and WikiLeaks, nobody is saying that that's not true. Not even the current DNC, not even the DNC of Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz. Nobody is saying that that information is not true. Nobody is saying that the information that was fished out of, what was his name? Podesta's emails is not true. Nobody's saying that those emails are not true. They're just complaining that it was leaked to the American people. You could boil it down and say that the Democrats are angry because the truth was propagated to the American people. During the campaign, Russia launched an all-out assault on our democracy, and it found a willing and active partner in Donald Trump's campaign, said Tom Perez. Again, they believe their own lie. They have said the lie long enough, loud enough, and often enough that they believe it is true. This constituted an act of unprecedented treachery. The campaign of a nominee for president in league with a hostile foreign power to bolster its own chance for winning the presidency. The case asserts that the Russian hacking campaign, combined with Trump associates' contacts with Russia and the campaign's public cheerleading of the hacks, amounted to an illegal conspiracy to interfere in the election that caused serious damage to the Democratic Party. Now, Trump's associates' contacts with Russia, there's only one of which of these I know of, and it turned out to be a fluke. There have been no legitimate meetings between a president against a Trump campaign, brass or whatever you want to call it, and somebody in the upper levels of the Kremlin before the election took place. So there's a bogus claim right there. Trump associates contacts with Russia. Campaign's public cheerleading of the hacks. I can explain that one. Trump said the joke, maybe the Russians can find the Hillary Clinton emails. Obviously, that's a joke. The only way that that's not a joke is if you believe in the first place that there was a collusion conspiracy, which there was not. But the only way you get to Trump said maybe the Russians can find Hillary's email, that's dog whistling, is if you believe that there was collusion. Public cheerleading of the hacks. What else could that mean? Well, there were a lot of people that were saying it's a good thing that Americans know this information. And what information was disseminated because of the alleged hack? The league, the alliance between the media and the Hillary campaign, the measures by which the Hillary campaign was working to rig the Democrat primary against poor Bernie. And those are the big two. Was there anything else? There was a lot of just contempt of American voters, if I remember correctly, in those emails. So, again, the Democrats are complaining that the Trump campaign, the Trump team, they're complaining that the Trump team was happy that the Hillary Clinton campaign was being hurt. I mean, you're in direct competition with these people. What do you expect them to do? Let's go see, are there any more juicy bites in here? I do not want this to be on my screen. Senate investigators and prosecutors for Special Counsel Robert Mueller are still investigating whether Trump associates coordinated with the Russian efforts. Last month, House Intelligence Committee Republicans said they found no evidence that President Trump and his affiliates colluded with Russian officials to sway the election or that the Kremlin sought to help him. After a year of investigation, House Intelligence Committee Republicans say they have found no evidence. The Democrats on the panel reject the conclusion. So I would like to see the evidence that they have that Trump did collude. And it's going to have to be more than just these cheerleading claims that the DNC is making. It's also going to have to be more than anything Robert Mueller has already found, which is being discussed in this DNC complaint. Now, we'll probably skip over those lines in this paragraph, but you're free to go and read the rest of this thing at your leisure. Let's see. Legal stuff about suing a foreign country. Precedent about Watergate. We've already talked about Watergate, and this is not the same at all. Oh, suit seeking millions of dollars. Suit seeks an acknowledgement from the defendants of collusion. Lawyers offered a detailed narrative of the DNC hacks. We've talked about a lot of this stuff already. Rather than report these repeated messages, and communications that Russia intended to interfere with the U.S. election, the Trump campaign and its agents gleefully welcomed Russia's help. Now, there's no evidence that the Trump campaign received any notifications by quote-unquote the Russians or WikiLeaks that any damaging information was coming out in advance. The only time this was almost true was when an email was passed around by the media that was missing a number in the date. So there's no evidence that the Trump campaign was receiving messages and communications from the Russians. Trump associates entered into an agreement with the Russian agents. No evidence. Suit does not name Trump as a defendant for good reason. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, his campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. We've talked about that meeting extensively. Manafort and Gates are charged with money laundering, fraud, and tax evasion. We talked about that. DNC lawsuit also names the defendant Russian military intelligence service. White House, Russian embassy. WikiLeaks is hunted no comment. Lawsuit was filed against Roger Stone. I think we've covered all of the juicy details. I guess there's this one. The suit contains previously undisclosed details, including that the specific date when the Russians breached the DNC computer system, July 27, 2015, according to forensic evidence cited in the filing. Why didn't the Democrats go to the FBI in July 27th, 2015 and say, "We've been hacked, please help us"? I'll tell you why. It's because they were already, even at that moment, plotting to rig the election against poor Bernie Sanders. I think that covers all of the juiciest of details, yeah. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that you don't miss future videos. Come back and join us on Monday. Until then, have a good night, have a great weekend, and God bless.